Hello, good morning. Welcome to the Arsenal Agenda show with myself, Alex, and George.
Morning.
This is the Premier League running show. Obviously, we're going to be talking about the Arsenal game at the weekend against Liverpool. We've got some transfer news that's come up this week. We're going to be talking a little bit about the under-18s and lastly on the up-and-coming game against West Ham. So starting off the show, George, obviously Arsenal-Liverpool. What's your thoughts on the game?
Well, I thought first half, like the majority of first 40 minutes, we was all over them, weren't we? 2-0 up.
Yeah.
And then, unfortunately, we let in that silly goal towards the end of the first half, and they come back into it, and really, they dominated the second half. They probably should have won the game. I mean, maybe we could have won it at the end. Saka had a really close opportunity. He just couldn't get that pass.
Martinelli just couldn't get the ball to him, could he?
No.
But yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I for 40 minutes, I think it was the game, I was loving it. I was wondering how many we were going to win by, to be honest with you. Maybe too confident as an Arsenal fan, but
at 2-0 up, that's how I felt.
Yeah, but I scored 3 in our last however many games. I thought, here we go. It's another goal difference kind of game for us, and we managed to snatch a draw from the hands of victory. But yeah, I mean, it's one of them. Liverpool at Anfield is a tough game. They're not the same team as Liverpool.
How good was Ramsdale, by the way?
Class. I mean, without Ramsdale, it could have been another Man United result, 7-2 or whatever. God knows, they had so many good opportunities. But yeah, Ramsdale was again, in my opinion, showed why he should be England number one. He's a fantastic shot stopper, and he turns up in big moments and has won us some big points. A big point, sorry. Following the weekend's result. And I think it is, although Martinelli obviously heavily involved with the 2 goals, I think it is, Ramsdale's point that he's earned there for the team, and he done his job exceptionally well at the back. Obviously helped out by
Arsenal contender for save of the season towards the end there, maybe 2.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a couple this season. I mean, ever since he's put on that Arsenal top, I don't think there's a fan out there that would have a negative word to say about Ramsdale. He's fantastic. He's done great, done better than any of us predicted. Even those that wanted him at the club, I think, would be surprised by how well he's done since he's been there.
There was a lot of criticism when we signed him, wasn't there, about relegation form that he had with clubs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's a different sort of pressure, but playing those pressure games, trying to stay in leagues, is similar to playing games to win leagues. If you're fighting for survival, you're fighting for your successes. You look at Arsenal, and we're definitely a team full of people with better mentality. Although I do think a little bit of the Liverpool game, we did snatch a draw from the hands of victory. We had a great opportunity late on in the game with Martinelli had a simple pass to Saka, which could have well stolen the points at Anfield at the end of it. But all in all, I thought, no. But all in all,
that was the gutter about it. I think that's why I don't know how to feel with the game. Like, we take the point, but I was sort of a little bit disappointed. I thought maybe we could have snatched the 3 back at the end, but.
It's one of them. I think, me and you had a chat after the game, obviously not on here, but we had a chat after the game, and you were saying you felt that ask Mikel Arteta on Saturday if he'd have had a point from Anfield and he'd have taken it.
I think he would have.
The problem I'm struggling to swallow is 2-0 up in 40 minutes. Would I take a draw? Definitely not. So yeah, I mean,
he left it too late to make changes.
Definitely, that's the one criticism I think of Arteta we can have. Is me and you were both saying, talking to each other, saying he needs to get players off the pitch.
We haven't done anything yet, it was too late by the time he did.
And the 2 subs that we were speaking about as well during the game was Gabriel Jesus for Tossard, which he did. And possibly taking Xhaka off for Tierney and moving Zinchenko into the midfield.
Just because I felt Xhaka was a little bit nullified once he had the yellow card.
Yeah.
So
he's not the best player when he's playing on eggshells, Xhaka.
No, and he kept looking for fouls. He weren't going to get any of them.
Yeah.
because he couldn't do the fouling, so he become the foulee. But we weren't getting nothing at Anfield because the referee
both said we thought he was rolling around a bit too much in that second half. But obviously continuing on with the game, obviously there's been a lot of discussions online about this. Robertson running up to the linesman at half time and getting an elbow from him.
A big girl, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a big baby, he said. Actually. It was a big baby. But yeah, no, in my opinion, I think Roy Keane's absolutely on the button. I think obviously different situation, but Mitrovic got an eight game ban for approaching a ref, and yes, he did push him. But I think you approach any of the officials in an aggressive manner and grab their arm, I think you're inclined to see an arm fling back at you, say, "Get off me." And I think that's simply what it is. I just think the agenda that sort of suits Liverpool is that this ref is absolutely out of order, and that's the media line because Liverpool have said it.
Not really. He gave a very soft penalty, in my opinion. So I don't think the referee was out of order at all.
No, and
I thought at times he was intimidated by the crowd.
Yeah. But I do think that if we were waking up this morning and Xhaka had that situation, we'd be talking match bans. Now that it's Robertson, we're talking about sacking the official. I just think it really stinks. Grow up, stop being such a baby, listen to the official. And to be honest, in rugby, if you'd have run up to the linesman like that, you'd have been sin-binned and sent off the pitch because they have respect for the officials. And this is what they want at grassroots level. Tell you what, you don't get this in the rugby grassroots level anywhere near as much as you do at football. And that's because the officials are respected at all levels. And it starts at the top and it works down. So I think if you're Robertson, you've got to look at yourself this morning. And if I, maybe even issue an apology for the way you approached the ref. And I think that's the right way to go about it and move on from there. I don't think the ref did anything wrong. Sorry, linesman, ref. But yeah, the official anyways didn't do anything wrong in my opinion. But yeah, moving on from the game, obviously disappointed with the 2-2, but a nice point. Still 6 points clear of City. Obviously, City do have a game in hand. They had an easy fixture this weekend. Obviously, bottom of the league in Southampton. I think it was 4-1, convincing win again. They appear to have hit that fine form that we don't want them to hit at the end of the season, but I think we all knew it was inevitable. But yeah, I must say, as an Arsenal fan, for the first time in many years, to be this nip and tuck at the end of the season is fantastic. It's great to watch. I was at the end of my seat at the end of the game yesterday.
If you'd have gone back to the summer before the season started, if someone had said to you, Arsenal will be going to the wire with City for the Premier League title, you'd have laughed in their face.
Absolutely.
I mean, nowhere near that yet. Do you know what I mean?
I don't think the most optimistic of Arsenal fans would have thought that. And I mean, after yesterday's game, I've got no nails left. I've been chewing at my fingers and whatever. It was a real nail biter. It was a great game. And the reason it was such a good game was because of everything around it. We're excited. We're trying to win the Premier League. I'm very much enjoying the position we're in. Although I would have preferred 3 points yesterday, we'll take a point, we'll roll with that, and we'll move on and stick behind the team. I don't think it's a point to start pointing the finger at Xhaka and saying that his outburst caused Anfield to come alive and cost us 2 points. I think it's a load of rubbish. I think Xhaka's an emotional player, and I want him to play at his best, which includes using his emotions. I think actually one thing that Xhaka did do, which in previous years, he would have had Edison a red card yesterday in previous years, in my opinion. He would have
especially once he got an armband, he's got form.
Yeah, so if anything, actually, I thought he did really, really well to keep his calm when he did and get back into the game and concentrate on the game at hand. So yeah, big shout out to him as well. But moving on from the game and the weekend's fixtures, obviously we've had some transfer information come through. There's a couple of players that we're being linked with. Starting off, Calvert-Lewin, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, obviously of Everton. What's your thoughts, George? What's your opinions?
not for me. I think that's a non-starter, really. I think Everton would want a substantial fee for him, and I don't really think there's room for him. But we've got Gabby Jesus, Nketiah, and then as far as next season's concerned, you've got to give that Flo Balogun a go, haven't you? Like, look at what he's doing in France at the moment. He's up there challenging Mbappe for top scorer. So yeah. I think with those three strikers, I think we're good. But I would rather have like more of a backup, like a natural backup for Saka, than I would an actual out and out centre forward.
Okay, that's interesting. I mean, for me,
like a sort of Aubameyang / Alexis Sanchez sort of type forward. Like one you can maybe whack there if you have to, but like one that can run down the wing.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion. Yeah, I think Calvert-Lewin's just too set in the one position, isn't he? He's quite Giroud-like, and I don't think we're playing that sort of football at the moment.
See, for me, I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin's a fantastic player, to be honest. When he gets form and fitness.
I'm not saying he's a bad player.
I'm just saying.
I think his style at the moment.
I think when he gets form and fitness, he's strong, he's physical. I think
I'd rather take a Tammy Abrahams over Calvert-Lewin, though.
I mean, you look at Everton this season, and he's been out the team a lot, and look at where they are now without him. I think he is the difference maker for them. I think he does improve their team. Again, I actually agree. Although I think
the alternative's Neil Maupay.
Yeah. I mean, when your alternative is Neil Maupay, I mean, you could pick a player out the stadium and probably have a better chance of scoring a goal. But I mean, that guy, as I said many a times before, I think he's sticking the living in the Premier League. But the quality of Calvert-Lewin, I don't think is debatable. I think he's a good striker. Do I want him at Arsenal? Do we need him at Arsenal?
I don't think there's room. I'm not saying he's a bad striker. There's just not room for him at Arsenal at the moment.
I completely agree. Not for me. Youri Tielemans of Leicester.
Here we go again.
Oh, I love this player. You know I do. He used to be an ex Championship.
You're a fan. It's just I'm fed up of seeing this story. Like.
Him and Odegaard were two players I loved. I was happy to see Odegaard sign for Arsenal when we got him, and I would gladly see Tielemans sign for us as well. I think he's a progressive midfielder. I think he steps into more of that Xhaka role than that Partey role. I think he's a great alternative to Xhaka. He's got an ability to score from outside the box. He's creative, and I think he's struggled by not having James Maddison alongside him as much this season with the injuries and whatever he's had. Struggled at Leicester. I think he would fit in well with us. Whether we'll get him or not, I don't know. But free transfer, I think he's a Premier League proven quality player. What's your thoughts?
I know you love him, so you're not going to like this. I think he lacks a bit of mobility. For me, I'd rather have Caicedo from Brighton. I think he fits the Xhaka role a lot better, personally. And then obviously we've been linked with Declan Rice as well. So, but I do see him as more of a party type player. Like he is, I think he's more holding.
Do you not think that's what Caicedo will do as well?
Yeah, but I think he could. When you look at the way Brighton play, it's quite similar to our style of play, and I think he can play like the Xhaka role. Like I say, he'll get back and help out, but I do think he'll move forward and help with the progressive passing forward.
Okay. So Tielemans a yes for me, a no for you, then, yeah.
I think there's a higher ceiling with him, and like I said, I just think he's a bit more mobile.
Okay. Over to Brighton, as you were just talking about him, Alexis McAllister. I've heard. Rumours of him coming to us. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll take that. World Cup winner. He's probably one of Brighton's best players this season as well, and barring Mitoma and obviously Caicedo.
See, I differ with you again here, George. I like Alexis. Yeah, I've watched him a lot at Brighton.
But is there room again? Because it's like we've got Odegaard, Vieira,
and you've forgotten him because he's been injured all season. ESR.
Smith Rowe, yeah, cool.
So it's for me. I like McAllister, good player. To be honest,
Again,
I think
no room for him.
Yeah, and not only that, there's certain players that I think should stay because there's a lot more to develop at Brighton. I think Brighton are a fantastic club for breeding Premier League players, and in my opinion, I would stay there one more season. A bit of loyalty to them, whatever, and just hone your talents at the top league, play week in, week out.
The way they're going, especially if they're in Europe, I think some of these players might have to give Brighton another season. Do you know what I mean? Just to see how it goes for them in Europe, because they'll be a European club. At this rate, I don't even think Liverpool and Chelsea are looking likely. Actually, I think Liverpool are back in it now, aren't they? But Chelsea aren't looking likely. So,
I mean, Chelsea is far as
I Tottenham and Liverpool for the Europa spot. So, I think if they get in that, some of them have got to give them the extra season. They'll be in Europe.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think Brighton is a feeder club to the Premier Leagues, and bringing quality talent to becoming quality footballers. There's something quite special going on down there, and I wouldn't be looking too quick to jump ship, if I'm honest. Just kind of like what Casiado did to us in January. As much as I'd love to have him, I think he made a semi sort of understandable position, staying with Brighton.
I mean, I'd like to get a bit of a relationship with Brighton, for being honest, because we've had a bit of luck with them recently. We've had Ben
like
White,
you say, similar styles of football. It helps.
Trossard,
it helps. Similar styles of football. And obviously Ben White as well. So
that Ben White and Trossard.
I
think we even took Matty Ryan from them. He weren't a bad backup keeper for the 6 months in the others.
No, he did a job, didn't he? He did a job. Now, lastly, the other one I've heard, if Arteta goes to Real Madrid, the possibility of De Zerbi to
once again back on the Brighton thing again.
I mean, I don't even know how to sum this up, because I'll be honest, when we got Arteta,
that's a non-starter. Super Mikel Arteta is going nowhere. Not this season, not next season. Like, he's building something. He's finally building this team to how he wants it to be. Well, why is he going to walk out now?
I couldn't agree with you more.
What offers do they set? Who do they think is going to come through? Real Madrid? I mean, you could go Real Madrid, maybe get sacked in a year or two, because it's a bit of a revolving door club, isn't it? It's similar to Chelsea. As soon as they start losing, they don't show the faith. We showed faith with Mikel, and I think he knows that. He played for us. He was a club captain, for Christ's sake. But I don't think he's going to go anywhere anytime soon.
No, I probably agree. But and then obviously, but the talk of.
I've lost your sound, Cobb. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? How about now?
I can hear now, yeah.
Lovely. Sorry about that, mate. So obviously going back to that, if Arteta did go, would De Zerbi be the type of manager that you look for?
I suppose he's similar mould to Arteta, so he wouldn't be a bad shout. But I don't know. Who else would you take, maybe? Diego Simeone from Atletico, maybe. I don't. But then that would be negative football. It's a completely different style to the sort of football.
You can't go from Arteta to Diego Simeone.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of who.
To be honest, there's one thing I really like about
who would be available. Like if Arteta was to go to a Real Madrid, but like I said, I don't think it's happening. So I don't think it's worth talking about, to be honest.
Fair enough. Well, we'll leave it there. I was just going to say that De Zerbi, the one thing I really like about him is he seems to just take the shackles off.
Yeah.
And
but I mean, Graham Potter looked a great fit at Brighton, didn't he?
We didn't realise that he was holding them back. We didn't know. We didn't know that he was the man holding them back. So it's you live and learn with these things, don't you? But yeah, I mean, De Zerbi's come in, done a fantastic job at Brighton, and turned them from mid-table fighting upwards to actually talking in and amongst the top six. And I think if you want to watch a good style of attacking football, watching Brighton ain't a bad way to go. You know, it's. I did think it was funny that Tottenham were linked with De Zerbi for a little while. Obviously on the back of Conte going, because again, I just think chalk and cheese. I mean, that's a team that don't attack, that play the most boring football they have all season, and to talk about such an exciting manager like that, I don't think it's what they're going to be getting, to be honest. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens over there. But yeah, De Zerbi, I like him. I prefer Arteta. Is my input with that, and
well, that's it. But, so I don't even think it's worth talking about because I don't think Arteta's going anywhere anytime soon. I think
long
he's
may
with
he
at least
reign,
the
I
next
suppose.
yeah, I think he's with for at least the next 2 or 3 seasons, 100%.
Yeah. Right. So talking about the under-18s progression onto the FA Cup youth final. Well done to Jack Wilshere and obviously the players there. They done a fantastic job. I think they did it in extra time just before penalties. I know they beat a 10-man Man City. I think it was lost a player early on, but we've got some real quality talent coming out of our youth.
Just keeps coming out of Hale End.
I mean, I look at that squad and there's a few players in there. I mean, ones that
Cozy
people have obviously.
Cozy
Dubry. I mean, I watch him and he's like, I can see. Yeah, I don't want to say it, but he looks so good, so mobile, so able to beat a player, cutting in off that line. I mean, I hope he comes through with a similar sort of progression that Saka did, because he just looks class. And then obviously that Lewis Skelly as well. Another one to watch. Sorry?
That's what I said. Yeah, another one.
Yeah, another one to watch coming up. And yeah, really exciting team. I tell you what, if I can get a chance to watch it, I'll be watching that Youth Cup final, because I'm actually enjoying watching the Arsenal youth team as well, alongside obviously the men's and the women's team as well. So we're looking good on all fronts this season, Arsenal, which is great. So lastly, George, coming up, we have a fixture. I think it's away against West Ham, Sunday 2 p.m. What's your thoughts on that? How do you feel about that game coming up?
From what I've seen of West Ham recently, it should be easy points on paper, right? I mean, they're in a relegation battle. I think I've catched them get a few drubbings this season, didn't they? So yeah, it should be easy points, and we need to bounce back now because it's looking like it's going to go down to the wire. I know a lot of people are saying that it's in City's hands now and all this, but I think it's just as much in our hands. Like we still hold the lead.
I think a lot of Arsenal fans just realise that is the agenda.
Yeah, like we're 6 points clear now. All right, they have the game in hand. Say they win the game in hand, that's going to be that's 3 points. I think it's going to be the game against us is important. And all right, it's at the Etihad, but I think we have a slight advantage in the fact that I think a draw is great for us. Do you know what I mean? If we can win or draw, I think they have to beat us because we've got a lot of similar opponents coming up. Like we're playing West Ham this Sunday. I think they've still got to play West Ham. Both still got to play Chelsea. Both still got to play Brighton. So yeah, I think it's gonna. The big game is going to be us v them. And I think it's one of them. If they beat us, we're going to be tied on points. They'll have the superior goal difference. So it might be tough then because we'll have to rely on them obviously slipping up somewhere and us not doing that beyond that game. But I think if we draw, I think that's great.
Yeah, absolutely. No, couldn't agree more. I mean, West Ham coming up. My opinion, I think we should beat them. It is away from home. We've done fantastically well away from home. We actually went along to the watched the Brighton West Ham game and watched how poor they were at Brighton. Yeah, and I'll be honest, I don't fear West Ham. I hope that we can get back on the winning on the horse again for winning. In order to beat this City team, I think we need to keep putting 3 points on the board. Obviously, it's another Sunday game. I think City are playing Saturday, so again, the ball will go very much into our court before the game. Not that I think that should make too much of a difference, but it's going to be very much on us to win it. And yeah, I think we should win the game. But I don't think,
like I say, on paper, I think it should be easy points. And if all these transfer rumors are to be believed, and Declan Rice is the priority, then you want to go there and show him why this is the club to join, right?
Yeah, great. Yeah. Well said. Very much so. Very much so. Right, George. Anything else you want to add, mate?
No, not really. Obviously, we at the Arsenal Agenda, we are going up to Arsenal at the Emirates later on this week to do the tour. We are going to do a few shorts, obviously, for the channel. So it'd be much appreciated if you give them a little view and a like, subscribe.
Exactly, yeah. So as George said, we're going up to the Emirates. We're doing the Legends tour. So we're going to get shown around the Emirates and into the dressing rooms, Arteta's office, and all sorts of bits and pieces like that. So we'll be showing you the ins and outs of around the Emirates whilst we're up there. A little bit of discussion from me and George as well whilst we're up there. We'll do a couple of short videos, one long one showing the entire day trip, I probably think. So as George said, like and subscribe below to get all of that content. Hit the bell notification as well, so that when we do post that content, you get notified straight away. But yeah, obviously, thank you all very much for listening to today's show. We'll be back next week following West Ham's game, hopefully with a little bit more of a positive result for you all. But again, George, thank you for your time, mate. Thank you all for listening, and we'll hope to see you all next week.
Have a good time.